All right, welcome my friends to this session on using video to help your congregation's visitors, people exploring your congregation on your website specifically, how to use video to help them successfully connect with your congregation. I'm Peter Bowden. I'm a trainer and coach working with congregations across the United States and beyond through online training programs and other fabulous digital tools. I'm glad you're here. This session is for you. If you have a congregation that you help lead, you work with membership development, outreach, growth, hospitality, and are interested in supporting a digital path to membership, so all the people on the internet who are exploring your congregation can actually move from being online and in research mode to connected with your congregation, whether that's on-site or through your fantastic online programs. Let's get into it. Big part of that has been helping people, helping visitors successfully connect with our congregations. And that means training our congregations on how do we, based on the way our culture and technology is today, how do we successfully welcome people? And so in this session, I'm actually going to pop up on timer here because you all know I can talk for a while, so I want to make sure I don't go too long. I'm going to do about 10-minute presentation, and then we'll get into Q&A. So we're going to talk about how cultures change, technologies change, and in our world right now, the potential newcomers in your congregation, your visitors, the people who would be your members if we did things right and really welcome them appropriately into our lives, into our hearts, they need some things different from us now compared to recent years. All right, what's changed? The path to membership, the way you get involved in a congregation, determine if it's right for you, build talk to people, feel a sense of connection, rapport, like I actually belong here. Like I think these people like me and I like them. And you get to the point where you feel like, you know what? This could be my spiritual home. This could be my religious community. I'm a Unitarian Universalist, but I have friends from a lot of different traditions tuning in. A lot of that process, which used to happen on site, has moved online in the form of people doing online research. So here's the challenge for us. How do you help someone feel welcomed, greeted, affirmed, that they're in the right place, and actually have a sense of belonging when you've never met them face to face? How do you do that? I sometimes will say, this feels like an impossible task, right? Right? How can you help someone feel like a visitor who's researching your congregation feel like these are my people, or that person seems so nice, and oh, we had a nice interaction. How do we do that? Well, today, when people are researching, when they land on your website, we have the opportunity to show up as human beings just the way I am here with you. Now, I want to talk about what's the experience right now in a lot of the websites I'm looking at, and working with a lot of congregations within the Unitarian Universalist Association. I'm kind of thinking about some of the templates you're using. People who are interested in your congregation land on the website. Very often there's slider of photos and a first-time visitor button. They click that first-time visitor button, and what's on that page? It is very often, and I've looked at a lot of websites, including earlier this morning, general information that says, welcome to our congregation. If you're interested in exploring, you're welcome anytime. We're Unitarian Universalist congregation, and there are links to like, we're part of this association. Click the link and go off to that website. And you might see this or that in worship and a chalice, and what's a flaming chalice? And you click off to a website about that. And we're guided by, principles and purposes, and there's links. And so basically there's a bunch of information, including some, basic like, hi, we're glad you're here. But then actually sending people off to various links to learn more. And what we're not doing is offering people an actual human greeting, like human, a face actually talking to you. We're not giving them a clear path to like, hey, we're glad you're here. This is specifically how we're welcoming people into our community right now. A lot of our congregations on their websites will say, you can come anytime and just go to worship or go to a program, lots of different offerings. And so in terms of the psychology of what's happening is when we don't show up as human beings online, people are left with that sense of like, there's some information, but there's no human rapport that's developed. So we can use video for that. In terms of helping people successfully connect, there's a lot of anxiety involved in visiting a congregation for the first time. So how do we help people get over that? I think we can let them know that, hey, we're glad you're exploring our congregation, and we have visitors coming all the time. Maybe you have a different amount of visitors where you are as a leader, but we can say, we're working to help newcomers to our congregation connect, get their questions answered, meet others, and really build community quickly, like when they first visit, in this specific way. And I like that to be something like they're actually signing up to go to either a newcomer event or some congregations that I'm playing with this with a congregation now, a newcomer cafe that's happening during your fellowship time. So you're not necessarily doing a special event, but using a newcomer space in your existing fellowship hour. And you give them a clear, this is where we're expecting you to come if you want to connect with our congregation in this place at this time, whether it's on site or online. It's a little different conversation. Some of the online groups or newcomer offerings. And I think we can say, if we really want to take charge of this experience for newcomers, and say, here's how we want you to connect with us, or we recommend you connect with us, have an RSVP so that when somebody lands on, and make sure, when we're done with this session, look at or you watch the replay, look at your first time visitor page or your visitor page, whatever you call it, and compare it to this picture. Picture this. Somebody lands on your website, they click a first time visitor button or plan a visit button, and there is either your minister, a member of your welcome team, could be a group of people filmed together using Zoom, or just on site outside your congregation, however. But human beings saying, hi, welcome to your congregation. We're so glad you're here. And then I recommend just giving people a little snapshot of the congregation, because this may be the first page they've ever looked at in any significant way. They land on your website, saw a visitor, click there. This is their first contact. Tell them a little bit about your congregation and let them know, and I keep pounding this with the leaders I'm working with, it's a great time to get involved. Why? From our need for community today, working to address the justice issues of our time, all these different things that you let them know it's a great time to get involved, and tell them how you're working to help them connect. What's that best way to get involved? And encourage them. I was filmed a video with a minister about this Monday, or last Monday, editing it this Monday. This is like how we want you to connect. We have our newcomer cafe and the RSVP form on this page. And you sign up, you're going to get a welcome email. So what does that do? Is turn off my timer here because I'm good to go. That makes it really clear. Like, there's human beings. We're glad you're here. We're welcoming you. This is how we recommend you get involved. Like, where our welcome team is going to be, or maybe it's some other offering. It's up to you what you have people do. And we want you to sign up right here. I love the RSVP because we're getting the contact info when they're at the peak of their research mode, and that avoids the problem of having to collect cards and things when they show up on site. And it's actually making people commit a little bit, like, oh, am I going to visit this congregation? Am I going to do it? And they're like, I am going to sign up. And they do it. So that's the very different approach to there's no person there on your website to offer any kind of sense of rapport, a friendly greeting, a sense of like, just like, I can connect with these people. This person seems great. Very different from come anytime, a little more focused on join us at this time, in this way, at this event, and actually having them click the RSVP, submit. All right, I'm going to stop there. What questions do you have about that? And I have a file with some questions that came in earlier. People submitted in advance. So when I'm doing live sessions, I invite people in my training community, and sometimes you might, if you're on my email list, you may see this. You can always let me know a question you have in advance, or something you want to make sure I cover during a live session if you can't be here live, and then I can address it and you watch the replay. So question number one, how does this differ from a Meet the Minister video? I talked about Meet the Minister videos last week. What's this visitor landing page video? So the difference is when somebody is looking to connect with a congregation, and we're building what I like to call a digital path to membership, we're giving them the information they need to be able to say yes to your congregation being right for them. Well, what's the educational objectives they have? It's like, all right, the Meet the Minister video is check. I know who the minister is. That person seems like a decent human being, not some scary person that's going to make me want to run away. I need to know that before I visited. So check, Meet the Minister. Helps newcomers feel confident, like, oh, I can get involved in this religious community. And for those of you who are Unitarian Universalists, that's really important for people who are like, I need community. My family, we want to go to a congregation, but I have no religious background. What's the minister going to be like? So a little different. This video, this visitor landing page, and I think about a landing page, not just general information links, but a real focused, we want to help you land in our congregation. It's like a welcome table on your website where there's a greeter, just the way you'd have a greeter on site. Your online greeter is a person on video on your landing page, which is like, welcome, here's how you get involved. So that's the main difference. What other videos can you use to connect? So somebody asked after last session, what about religious educators? Well, if you have a children's program, family ministry, working with children some way, imagine having a video of the person who's leading that program or a volunteer team talking about what you do on the website where you're signing children up or families up for that program. So if you see the leaders of that program, how much more likely are you to feel confident or comfortable getting involved? I think much. Anytime you have a leader leading a primary program area, ministry, ongoing event, your ongoing sitting meditation group, your climate justice group, your environmental leadership team, this group, that group, basically any page on your website that talks about some kind of program or ministry of the congregation, if there are leaders of that program, having them on video is fantastic. So there's so many other staff members talking about programs. The biggest thing to know is that more video content is more helpful, just generally. And also you can use this content to share via social media too. How long should a welcome video be? I think for a visitor page, the one I was just editing this week came to be about 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes. It was around 3 minutes, and I'm like, I can cut this, I can cut that. Now, because I have a lot of media experience and a lot of trust with the clergy that I'm working with, I can be like, all right, we can cut here, cut there, and I can share a draft and be like, this is even shorter, but it still does the same job better. So generally I say as short as possible while still accomplishing what you want. So if your description of your congregation, like here's a little snapshot of who we are, is 30 seconds, that's fantastic. And then the rest of the invitation explanation. If you end up sharing a little more detail into 2 minutes about your congregation and why it's a great time to get involved, that could be great. As long as what you're sharing is relevant to the decision the people on that page are making. And I always like to say, start your video with very clearly what you want people to do, the call to action. So here it's welcome, RSVP for this event, experience, attending service, whatever you're trying to encourage people to do, and then go into all your info. So even if people watch a very short chunk of a video, and like say, if you look at video stats across social media, I think it's a little bit more when you're on a website and you're in research mode. People might watch the start of your video and then get distracted. So whatever video content you're making, it's always great to make sure whatever it is you want people to do, you're mentioning that first or at the very top of the video, then go and elaborate and share more. All right, other questions. Here, I got a couple of question sources. Is that a Death Star? Oh, on my lava lamp, there is a little teeny Death Star. It's actually a peppermill. It's my reminder to continually work to crush fascism. There you go. All right, what else, friends? How are we doing for time? A little bit more time. So what's the difference between a web page and a landing page? A landing page, in terms of like the marketing and business world, is a page that has one primary focus, which is getting the person landing on that page to respond to a specific call to action. So if you're looking at a landing page relating to enrolling someone in a program, everything on that page is trying to get people to say yes to enrolling in that program. If you're trying to get someone to enroll or like really choose to get involved in your congregation, we're deciding how do we recommend they do that. And we say, this is how we recommend you do that. And you give them the clear opportunity, the path to do that with no other distractions, links going elsewhere. And so I think that just gives your page a lot more focus. So if you look at your first time visitor page, how many links are there on that page presently that could take them away? I was looking at a website this morning and there were 15. So welcome, you first time visitor, welcome to First Unitarian of such and such information. And there were like 15 links taking people away. And they weren't even just links to other parts of that website. It was like to other parts of the internet. Who knows if people are going to come back if they go to explore those links, right? So we really want to focus people on here is the process we recommend. Now, people always ask me, some people are not going to want to do what we want them to do. Say if you're using come to our fellowship hour after the service and our newcomer cafe to meet people, answer questions, etc. Bye, Brenda. What if they want to do something else? Well, they can do something else. But what we shouldn't do is say, just because some people are going to say, the first way I want to get involved is I want to go to a climate justice meeting because I want to meet the climate people first. Like that's what they're going to do that. But for the majority of people, like checking your congregation out, they're curious, they're in this peak research mode. Somebody told them, oh, you should be, you like that? You're interested in this? You should go to this congregation. There's all your people there. You're like, what, my people there? So you Google it and you're looking and you're in this research mode. Like, is this for me? And right then and there, that's where we can say, hey, if you're looking to get involved, do it this way. It's like the runway. Come and land right here. Just to give people a sense of confidence. Does that make sense? Let me just check questions. That's the main thing. Now, I will say that in terms of RSVPing logistics, I had a conversation with a congregation and like, well, we don't have a lot of sophisticated like Eventbrites and things for groups for people to actually like register for. So can we even use this strategy? You could use a simple form connected to your database or a Google form that's simply name, email, open-ended question, date you're attending our service and say a newcomer experience or whatever you're offering, and how many attending. And that's it. One of the nice things that different email systems have now, like MailChimp, different church database systems with forms, you can set it up so that there's a welcome email. So that welcome email, so when people send an RSVP for something, you can send them a great greeting, like, welcome, here's all the information. Really, I like to think of it as a digital welcome packet. So all that together, I think, can make a big difference in people's experience, comfort in getting involved, sense of rapport, and feeling like we really care that people are getting involved. We're putting in the time to meet them online. Once we make a video, it can be there 24/7, every day of the year. 2 a.m, someone's exploring our congregation, you can be there, or a leader can be there, and we have a clear opportunity, a way for them to get involved. That I think makes it far less. There's less anxiety in that process versus the come anytime, do whatever. People aren't expecting you, and there's a lot that can go wrong. There's a lot that can go wrong, and a lot of people who end up not connecting with congregations because their first time experience is they're going somewhere where there's no greeters, there's no expectation that they're there, and they just feel ignored. So we want to avoid that. So I hope that helps. Want to check to see if there are any last questions before we wrap up. This content is related to my Video Message Academy for Congregations program. So for those of you who are like, love the video engagement strategies I talk about and want deeper training, but also like some video content outlines and other resources to support your implementation, that training is on-demand training. But for Unitarian Universalists, which is my denomination, there's also a learning community, so people can have ongoing discussion, share videos. I give feedback. I just added a new community platform to my website, so I can kind of run things like Facebook groups, but right within my own site. So giving video feedback. So check out videomessageacademy.com if you're curious. But also, it's not rocket science to make a video, but it takes a lot of emotional energy. It's hard to prioritize the time, and I'm realizing that there's some people who would really benefit from just having help getting it done. So I'm starting to make time in my schedule for colleagues who are like, I've been meaning to make a Meet the Minister video or visitor page video for years, haven't done it. Reach out to me. I'm starting to do this stuff remotely. So there's on-demand training and resources community if you want to work on it, with my support through the training. But if you do want direct help, I'm here. For me, the video, it's all about relationship and showing up as leaders online to advance the goals, the mission, the ministry of your congregation. So I hope that helps. I'm going to wrap it up there. Check for any last questions. I think that's it. Any other questions? We good? If you have video content on your website that you're proud of, I'd love to see it. You can email me or reply via social media. And just, I know there's so much. I guess I want to end by saying there's so much we can do to communicate and engage with people and advance the work of our congregations to live more fully into people's digital lives and lives at large. But it takes time, and it's very easy to prioritize everything else because the kind of content, video content, engaging with people via video is so, if we don't schedule like, ooh, this matters, this is going to support visitors to our website just day after day, week after week, month after month. If we don't schedule it, prioritize it, it's easy for it not to happen. But what's happening when we don't do that? I know a lot of congregations that are in active, how are we going to cut the budget mode? Do we have to reduce staff? Can we continue to do this? Are we going to stay in our building? And so there's all this energy on like damage control, survival, and some of the things that could help you thrive in these times. Outreach, showing up online. There's more time spent on like, are we going to survive than, building in some of these critical communications. And so I just want to recognize that's a real challenge. I can't wave a magic wand to make all the financial challenges go away, but There's some really exciting things we can do just by showing up in people's lives online and being there when they are researching us, when they're looking and trying to discern, is this my spiritual home? So thank you for all you do. Next week, what's our next session? We'll just look at my YouTube channel. I'm going to do that right now. And the next, I forgot what I have up on queue here for our next, let's see. I'm going to start trying to schedule our sessions, little live sessions, a little further out. I'll make sure I quote myself right. All right. The next live stream strategy and Q&A is weekly minister video engagement strategy. What is that? That is showing up online in people's digital lives between services, so between Sundays, say, and actually telling people, this is what's happening in congregational life. This is what's happening this coming weekend, why you're excited about it, what the topic is about, maybe giving them a little teaser so that before the weekend, you've actually piqued people's interest in a way that they're like, this service is about that thing. I love that thing. Or, oh, my friend's interested in starting to meditate, or climate justice, or the nature of our future with artificial intelligence. I don't know what you're preaching about. But showing up in people's digital lives through short, simple videos. I'm talking 90 seconds to 2 minutes to just let people know this is what's happening and why, and let them know that they want to prioritize participating. Reach out to me if you have follow-up questions or need help. Okay.